Hello? Oh my God, something just grabbed my shoulder. Oh my God! Oh.
Out in the wild, encounters rarely begin with fear. They start with something small that just doesn't feel right. From a frozen Bigfoot body hidden for decades to a massive figure stepping out of the tree line and charging without warning. So, when the evidence keeps appearing but never clearly, are these just misidentifications? Or something we're not supposed to understand? In 1953, a man claimed his father had found and preserved the frozen body of a young male Bigfoot.
My father acquired the Bigfoot September 23, 1953. And when they acquired them, they were so immense that they had no other choice, with most of them, to dissect them, cut them up so that they could get them out of the swamp. Now, this one in particular isn't that big, but it is still a very large creature. Now, it's desiccated because it's been in a freezer 65 years, give or take.
He stated the creature was obtained on September 23, 1953, and explained that many of the beings they recovered at that time were so large they had to be cut apart to be removed from the swamp. This one was smaller than the others, but was still described as a large figure. After around 65 years in a freezer, the body had dried out and shrunk. He noted that 1 foot severed above the ankle had been removed and stored in a separate bag. The body, said to stand over 6 feet tall and covered in hair, remained frozen for decades.
You can clearly see it's a male. And as we go around to the back side, there's the foot that matches up perfectly. It definitely came from this animal. It's been frozen with this animal for many years. You can see the toenail there. See the foot. That's where the other foot was removed. It's been frozen. It's all desiccated. You can see the gluteus maximus here is. Now you can see the face. They always seem to look similar, and they always sort of like have that grin. I'm not really sure why they're grinning like that.
He claimed the missing foot matched the corpse exactly and had been kept with it the entire time. He described its dried features, a visible toenail, strong muscles, and a face that appeared to hold a fixed grin, something he suggested was common among specimens. According to him, the being was not human with strong musculature and smaller human-like feet.
There is a lot of conjecture on the internet about these creatures and these specimens in particular, and I can state factually that the DNA has been checked. We've checked the DNA, but it comes back of an unknown origin.
He insisted DNA testing had been conducted, but said the results came back corrupted or of unknown origin. His theory was that these beings were biological recording devices for the Greys, which he believed explained why no skeletons had ever been found. There are many doubts and unanswered questions, but to him, the frozen body was not a myth. He saw it as proof. Deep in the isolated mountains near Mission, British Columbia, something strange was caught on camera. While walking along a quiet logging road, 2 hikers were taking photos of the scenic surroundings when they noticed movement in the distance. A tall figure stood out against the landscape. When they zoomed in, it appeared to be an upright shape too large to be a person and not moving like a bear. The hikers observed closely, trying to understand what they were seeing. Could it have been a Bigfoot moving through the wilderness? What began as a routine hunting trip turned into something far more unsettling. On the last day at camp, a hunter set up his blind near an elk wallow, hoping to spot game. The forest was still disturbed only by the rustling of leaves. As he waited quietly, he captured something completely unexpected. Just about 30 feet away, a tall, upright figure stood partially hidden behind a bush, watching him. In the daylight, its facial features were briefly visible. On October 12, 2025, a man was walking through a small forest in Idaho when he spotted two upright figures in the fading light, one larger and one smaller. He pulled out his phone and recorded a short clip that quickly went viral titled "Bigfoot" and "Baby Spotted in Idaho." But the question remains, was it truly a Bigfoot family or just people in costumes? A massive figure first observed at an oil site in Alberta has now appeared again on a horse ranch at sunset. As the ranch owner drives around a burning pile of brush, his focus remains on the flames, unaware that a tall silhouette stands completely still beside one of his horse shelters, partly hidden by the falling snow. As he continues circling the fire, he never notices the shadowy shape staying motionless near the structure. Only later, while reviewing the footage, does he realize that something or someone had been watching him the entire time. Deep in the Mississippi swamplands, a hunter's quiet stakeout suddenly shifts into something far more unsettling. Something massive is positioned just beyond the trees. He notices movement behind him, and while waiting for hogs in the fading light, expecting typical wildlife, he slowly turns around only to see a large, dark figure crouched beside a fallen cypress. Its broad shoulders and upright head look unlike anything he has ever encountered. He watches in stunned silence as the figure tears into the stump with its oversized hands. In the distance, a truck rumbles along the road, and the being suddenly rises to its full height easily, around 7 feet tall. Panic sets in and he runs his mind racing. Had he just witnessed the elusive skunk ape in action? A man was hiking up a mountain trail when he said he saw a Bigfoot moving along the path ahead of him. He pointed out what he believed was a Bigfoot entering a nearby cave, insisting he had just seen an even larger one moments before. However, he never managed to capture the creature on camera, only his reaction. Without any visual evidence to support the sighting, many remain skeptical of his claim. This man retrieved his trail camera to check what it had captured, but the moment he reviewed the footage, he froze. A massive, fur-covered figure had been recorded deep in the forest. It appeared to have a cone-shaped head, long arms, pale shoulders, and a huge build. No one can say for certain what the creature was. Could it have been Bigfoot? And if it was staged, the execution was disturbingly convincing. In the Cheyenne Mountains, a hiker named Jeannie Lomakin filmed a mysterious figure walking along a river. The silhouette appeared tall, hunched over, and entirely covered in hair, moving in a way no human naturally would. Around that same time, hunters near Salicard found massive footprints deeply pressed into the snow, far larger than any humans. The trail suddenly shifted direction before disappearing into the forest. Many believed the creature was the Almasty, often referred to as Russia's version of Bigfoot. In the middle of a dense, overgrown field, a trail camera captured a strange image. It showed a dark, human-like figure with a head that appeared slightly elongated. No one can say for sure what it was. It could have been a solitary ape passing through the area, or possibly the creature people quietly speak about, a Bigfoot. with the exact location never revealed. Confirming the truth is nearly impossible. A hiker was exploring the mountains one evening when he noticed something large and dark moving along the slope. It was walking upright before it disappeared behind the trees. He only captured a brief glimpse of it, and the clip shows very little, but in a way that almost makes his account seem more convincing. He didn't know what the figure was. Yet, with so many people in North Carolina reporting similar encounters, only one possibility came to mind: Bigfoot. Still, no one can say for certain. An image shared online was said to show a Bigfoot deep in the forests of Texas. The figure appeared tall and broad, covered in dark hair, with long arms that nearly reached the ground. Some viewers dismissed it as staged, while others believed it looked authentic. However, no further details about the encounter were ever revealed, making it difficult to confirm it as a genuine Bigfoot sighting. A simple walk through the woods suddenly took an unsettling turn. Something was still nearby, or something else entirely.
He's still up here. Or something's up here.
As a man moved through a densely wooded area with his dog, he stopped to check his trail cameras. Then, sharp knocking sounds echoed through the trees, breaking the silence.
He's moving, he's moving, he's moving. Daisy, come here. Daisy, come here.
Curious, he kept moving, and soon noticed a large figure standing on a ridge. When he started recording, the figure reacted aggressively, throwing rocks in his direction. He froze in place, immediately realizing this was not a normal animal. While walking through the woods, this person noticed something unusual and snapped a quick photo. Later, they uploaded a black and white version of it to a Bigfoot subreddit. The image seemed to show a dark shape positioned behind a fallen tree stump. Some viewers were convinced it could be a Bigfoot, while others immediately dismissed it, arguing it was clearly nothing more than a stump. In the end, most agreed there was nothing mysterious about the image, just a tree stump aligned at the right angle. Still, for a brief moment, people couldn't help but wonder if they were seeing something real. A trail camera placed deep in Idaho's snowy forest captured an image that left many people unsettled. The photo showed an ape-like figure standing in the cold, its thick black fur covered in snow, and its exposed face showing features that appeared almost human. No one knows who set up the camera or the exact moment the image was taken. The snow clinging to its fur suggested it had been out there for a while, enduring the harsh conditions. Idaho has a long history of reported Bigfoot sightings, so it could be real, but it's difficult to be certain. In July 2010, a man claimed he had captured something extraordinary while hiking deep in a remote forest. He said it was just after sunrise when he noticed movement ahead on the trail. He quickly pulled out his camera and began recording. That's when the figure appeared, a tall, shadowy creature walking upright. carrying what seemed to be a smaller one in its arms. he didn't move any closer. Instead, he remained frozen, filming in shock, unable to process what he was seeing. Some believe this could be one of the clearest Bigfoot recordings ever made, pointing out how the creature's movements appeared unusually fluid, eerily similar to the famous Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967. Skeptics, however, dismiss it as nothing more than another elaborate hoax. So, what do you think? Could this be real evidence or just another staged sighting? A man hiking near Shaver Lake, California, reported coming across several large human-like footprints along the trail. Although he didn't provide exact measurements, they were clearly larger than a typical foot. Later, while posing for a photo with a fish he'd caught, something unusual appeared in the background: a tall, dark, ape-like figure. The shape looked slender, with a cone-shaped head and dark fur covering its body. Some even speculated it could have been a female Bigfoot carrying an infant. Given the footprints discovered earlier, the possibility can't be completely ruled out. However, with the photo lacking clarity, there isn't enough detail to eliminate other explanations. For now, it remains another intriguing sighting, one that adds to the ongoing debate, but provides no solid proof. A man set out alone on a winter hike in the Pend Oreille National Wildlife Refuge, returning to the same area where he had first noticed unusual tracks back in 2013. Those earlier prints measured nearly 15 inches long and appeared to be barefoot. This time, deep in the snow, he found fresh tracks.
I was seeing a lot of deer and elk and some moose tracks down here, and I came across this. Hope you can see it. Those sure do look like toes to me. I see about 5, maybe 4 for sure. It's about 5 inches wide, and if that is a big toe to the heel, it's about 13.5 inches. But it looks like some impressions going that way, right towards the water's edge. So there it is. Won't know more until I cast it and see what kind of details come out of it, but it sure looks like a footprint.
They formed clear 5-toed footprints, 13.5 inches long and 5 inches wide, stretching across a frozen lake. No other tracks led in or out, just a single line that disappeared into the ice. He attempted to create a plaster cast of one of the prints, but the snow melted too quickly. In the end, only his photos and measurements remained as evidence of the unusual discovery. A strange clip from Australia surfaced not long ago, showing a boy quietly watching a fire deep in the woods. A young man filming for his survival channel was recording the scene when something completely unexpected happened. He reacted in shock as a massive figure suddenly stepped out from the tree line. Instead of running, the boy threw something toward it, only making the situation worse. The figure responded aggressively, charging quickly in their direction. Online viewers were quick to label it a possible yowie, the legendary cryptid said to roam Australia's wilderness. Others argue it may have been nothing more than a person in a costume, intentionally trying to scare hikers. As for the cameraman, he admitted he wasn't sure what he had seen, but whatever it was, it seemed more animal than human. In 2021, a strange photograph surfaced from Alaska. It was reportedly taken by a 10-year-old boy who had been playing just beyond his family's backyard. While alone in the woods, he noticed a tall, dark, upright figure and quickly took a picture before running back home. Some argue the image looks like nothing more than a person in a costume, while others believe it could be genuine. Either way, the thought of encountering something like that so close to home is undeniably unsettling. A trail camera placed deep in the forest captured a strange image. It appeared to show a large, heavy-set figure climbing up a wooded slope, its body seemingly covered in dark fur. Some suggest it could simply be a bear, but the posture doesn't seem to match that explanation. Skeptics argue the unusual look may be due to motion blur, or possibly just the angle of the shot. Still, the question remains, was it only a bear, or did the camera capture something far more mysterious? In late October 2023, a man from the family-run TikTok account WV Paranormal was walking through the woods behind his home in the Appalachian region when he encountered something unsettling. The footage shows a tall, upright, hair-covered figure standing completely still among the trees. Moments later, it slowly turns before slipping back into the forest. With the Appalachian Mountains already known for decades of unusual reports, this video only adds to the mystery. Cryptid researcher Philip Cannella was hiking through Danes Dyke in Bridlington, UK, on April 26, 2025 when he captured something unusual on camera. The photograph appeared to show what some believe could be a dogman, a tall humanoid figure with a dome-shaped head, partially obscured by a slope and visible only from the waist up. Philip estimated the figure to be between 7 and 8 feet tall. While dogman encounters are most commonly reported in the United States, the UK has also had its share of unsettling sightings. Could this image be one of them? One night, a man was moving through the woods when he began to hear strange noises echoing around him. Uneasy, he swept his flashlight across the trees but didn't see anything unusual. Then, without warning, he spotted something, and to this day no one knows exactly who or what he captured on camera. In another case, a man hiking through the Australian outback noticed a hunched figure moving between the trees. At first, he thought it was just a kangaroo, but when he zoomed in for a closer look, he realized it was something entirely different. Near Bartlett, New Hampshire, a woman took her dog for a walk in the woods behind her home. Her normally confident large dog suddenly began acting differently, hesitant, fearful, and refusing to move forward. Moments later, she noticed a foul smell in the air, something resembling decay. A sense of unease came over her, and she pulled out her phone to record the area. That's when she captured something unexpected. Both she and her dog froze, crouching behind a bush in an attempt to stay out of sight. When the creature finally seemed far enough away, they ran sprinting out of the forest. For the woman, it was the most terrifying experience she had ever gone through. While hiking through the forest, this individual captured something difficult to explain. In the distance, a dark, upright figure moved steadily between the trees. Its size stood out, appearing massive against the thin trunks and sparse undergrowth. The figure's build was distinctive: broad shoulders, long arms, and a hunched neck, features that closely match many classic Bigfoot descriptions. There was no sign of the outdoor gear, no backpack, nothing to suggest it was simply another hiker. On a cold autumn day, a man was hiking through a forest in Kentucky when he heard the sound of heavy footsteps coming from the other side of a hill. Moments later, a huge figure suddenly appeared. Panicked, the man ran, taking a quick photo as he fled. The creature appeared to be close to 10 feet tall, with thick legs, massive feet, and broad shoulders. Strangely, its head seemed small compared to the rest of its body. Experts often report Bigfoot to be around 7 to 9 feet tall, making this one even larger. So the question remains, was it truly Bigfoot or something else entirely? In this clip recorded in a remote fog-covered area that gives the scene a dramatic appearance, a tall, solidly built white figure suddenly appears, immediately capturing attention. Viewers have suggested many theories. Some believe it could be an albino Sasquatch, while others think it might be a camouflaged Bigfoot. But when examined closely, the shape doesn't fully match those explanations. It appears more like a person wearing a costume, possibly trying to be seen. What do you think? While going through his late grandfather's belongings, a man discovered a photograph that completely stunned him. It showed 2 tall, shaggy figures walking hand in hand through a snowy forest, resembling what could be a Bigfoot mother and child. In the background, 2 more dark shapes stood among the trees. The image had no date, no location, and his grandfather had never spoken about it. Was it real evidence of Bigfoot, or simply people bundled in heavy winter clothing? Alicia submitted a photo to the Rocky Mountain Bigfoot organization that her friend's daughter had taken in central Minnesota. While attempting to photograph deer, the girl unknowingly captured something unusual in the frame. It wasn't until 3 days later that they noticed a strange figure that appeared to be watching one of the deer. Since then, their German Shepherd has been acting unusually nervous, which they believe could be connected to the sighting. Alicia, who has lived in the area her entire life, pointed out Minnesota's long history of Bigfoot encounters. Could this be real evidence, or is there another explanation? Late one night, a woman reviewing her trail camera footage noticed something unusual. A dark shape standing completely still, appearing as if it were covered in a long black cloak. The image quickly circulated across Facebook, drawing plenty of reactions. Most people concluded it was likely just a tree creating a visual illusion, though some still wonder whether something else may have been captured. While walking along a forest trail, a hiker paused to take photos of some unusual-looking plants. At the time, everything seemed completely normal, but later, as he reviewed the images, he noticed something unsettling. A small figure that looked like a child standing alone on a bridge. Although he was open to paranormal explanations, he tried to find a logical reason. Still, something didn't feel right. The red and blue tones in the figure didn't match anything he remembered seeing there. Nothing in that area should have produced those colors, at least nothing visible to him. While walking along a forest trail, a hiker paused to take photos of some unusual-looking plants. At the time, everything seemed completely normal. But later, as he reviewed the images, he noticed something unsettling. A small figure that looked like a child, standing alone on a bridge. Although he was open to paranormal explanations, he tried to find a logical reason. Still, something didn't feel right. The red and blue tones in the figure didn't match anything he remembered seeing there. Nothing in that area should have produced those colors, at least nothing visible to him. While hiking along the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina, a woman stopped to take a photo of the morning fog and sunrise. At the time, everything seemed completely normal. But later, when she reviewed the image, she noticed something unsettling. A faint figure standing on the path within the mist. She insists no one was ahead of her, and the trail had been completely silent. So, what exactly was out there that morning? Lomar, a solo paranormal investigator from Paranormal Discovery, went out with his dog Kia to look into recent Bigfoot sightings near the abandoned Uniacque gold mine.
Feel really weird though. Like really weird. It's like something's watching already. Something weird.
As soon as he entered the area, he felt an immediate sense of unease, as if something unseen was already watching him. The atmosphere felt off.
What is that? Yo, that's a car seat. Yo, there's a bunch of car parts. Coaches over there. Man, all of the parts are just...
As he moved through the dense forest, the uneasy feeling continued to build. He soon came across discarded items, car seats, scattered vehicle parts, and old furniture left behind in unusual conditions.
Alright, so we got our first clue. That could be natural, but you never know in this world. Why are these all in such weird conditions? Just a bunch of weirdness. Like even back there, some of the trees are chewed up. Yo, look at the destruction here. Whoa. Again, if you guys have seen our Bigfoot series, man, in between trees, it's so odd how it does that. It's weird how, like the majority like this, jammed in between two trees, ripped completely out of the ground. Look at that.
The deeper he went, the stranger everything looked. He pointed out what he believed could be his first clue, noting that while it might have a natural explanation, it didn't seem entirely normal. Some of the trees appeared chewed up, broken apart, or wedged unnaturally between others, with several torn completely out of the ground. The destruction reminded him of scenes from previous Bigfoot investigations.
I think this is where we're gonna set up camp for the night. We're not gonna stay the full night, but maybe make a bonfire. It's weird, I'm hearing like off-roading vehicles, ATVs, I think, but no one's coming up. It's kind of weird.
Eventually, he reached a clearing and chose it as a temporary place to stop planning to set up a small campfire, even though he didn't intend to stay overnight. While there, he heard a faint sound in the distance that resembled off-road vehicles, even though no one appeared to be nearby.
Please be careful here.
Please be careful here. Okay. I don't know what this feeling is. It's crazy. Like it just got intense. Like either an animal's with us, like a bear or a coyote, or it's a Sasquatch. Like straight up. Like I'm not joking. Like my emotions are starting to run high. I'm starting to feel like something here is getting hostile. Kia's been sitting down, looking into random parts of the forest. It's trippy, to be honest. I'm starting to think that this is not an area that happened at. I just have it in my gut. Something here occasionally comes, and this is its habitat. I don't know, it could be a bear for all I know, but something does come here. It's giving me that.
After starting the fire, he turned on his spirit box and a disturbing voice came through the static, increasing his sense of urgency. His fear intensified as the atmosphere suddenly grew heavier. He sensed that either a large animal, possibly a bear or coyote or something like a Sasquatch, might be close. The tension led him to believe the area wasn't naturally formed and that something could be using it as its territory. He felt strongly that whatever passed through occasionally might still be nearby.
I keep hearing something in here. Now keep in mind, I don't think I'm gonna film the whole way out, but I might keep it recording just so it can document anything that could possibly happen. Hello? What the? Yo, it's creepy as hell, man. Someone over here? Or something? I don't want to leave Key for too long. But something's here. Something is legitimately in front of me. I just can't see it, but I can hear it.
As he made his way back out, more strange signs appeared, reinforcing his belief that something or someone was watching him. He continued to hear noises from the woods and kept his camera recording in case anything happened.
There's a weird set of eyes. Yeah. Hello? See that? It's glowing. I'm zoomed in the max that it can go. It's straight up glowing.
Passing old rusted car wreckage deep in the forest, he noticed something unusual, a pair of glowing eyes reflecting from the darkness. He zoomed in as far as his camera allowed and could clearly see the shine. Fortunately, both he and Kia were able to make it back to their vehicle without incident. Luke is an outdoor adventurer whose YouTube channel centers on reviewing camping gear and showcasing that equipment during his trips into the wilderness. His videos are typically calm and cinematic, but this particular outing carried a different tone. He ventured deep into a remote forest, far from any signs of civilization, looking for a more challenging backcountry experience.
This is the third week straight of solid rain. There's water literally dripping from everything at the moment. What I need to do first is figure out exactly where I'm going to stay tonight. I have a tarp set up for this trip. I'm thinking this tree to this tree with the tarp going this way. The ground here is somewhat level, more so than anything else. It's not perfect, but it will certainly do. This area here is a perfect example of real-world off-trail camping. This is what it's like. Nothing's flat, nothing's even. There's roots and rocks all over the place. This is what you will have to contend with if you want to do what I do. Off-trail, out in the middle of nowhere, what you need to get accustomed to is being satisfied with imperfect conditions. You may not have the best campsite out there, but take a look around. While certain areas suffer, other areas shine. And that is certainly true with this area.
After weeks of non-stop rain moisture covered every surface, dripping from branches and soaking the ground. His first task was selecting a place to stay for the night. He planned to use a tarp and considered tying it between two trees where the ground, though uneven, was still manageable. The location was a clear example of off-trail camping with no flat ground, exposed rocks and tree roots everywhere. Anyone wanting to camp far from others had to accept less than ideal conditions. Some areas might be rough, but others offered advantages, and this campsite reflected that balance well.
Good times. They are a pain to get going though. I've had to light these, relight, light again. But now they're finally taking off. I could have swore I heard something walking through the woods. Something big enough to break branches and whatnot. There are black bear up here, but that would be highly irregular for them to come this close to camp. I definitely heard something though. I just don't know what.
Once he chose a spot, he set up his shelter and prepared a meal. When the sun dropped behind the trees, his small tarp shelter became the only source of light for miles, a faint glow in the vast darkness of the forest. After eating, he built a small fire, though the damp wood made it difficult to keep it going. It took several tries before the fire finally caught. As he tended to it, he noticed a sound coming from the woods, heavy, deliberate footsteps that seemed too large to belong to smaller animals. The noise was strong enough to snap branches as something moved through the forest. Black bears lived in the region, but it was uncommon for them to approach a campsite this closely. He couldn't identify the source and briefly considered whether something like Bigfoot might be responsible, though he had no evidence. The uncertainty weighed on him, but there was nothing else he could do. He tried focusing on getting through the night, though the sounds continued from time to time, always distant but impossible to ignore. Eventually, he went to sleep, staying partly alert in case the noise returned. Morning came without incident, yet he was still left wondering what had been near his camp. Whether it was a deer, a bear, or even something resembling a Sasquatch, he couldn't determine. At the same time, Ian, the creator of Midwest Ghost Hunter, ventured into the unsettling woods of Appalachia to film a ghost hunting episode.
Storm has passed. It should be a clear night from here on out. I can definitely feel the electricity in the air right now. we are. Right when you walk in, there's the first mound. Man, walking through these woods, I feel like anything could just pop out at me right now. Like from anywhere. Bears, Bigfoot, ghosts, anything. Okay. I don't know if I'm going crazy. I thought I heard something behind me. Hello? Who's over there? I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid. I don't know. I thought I heard something.
After a storm passed, the night cleared, leaving the forest quiet but filled with tension. As he walked into the woods, he felt exposed, as if anything from wildlife to something unexplained could appear at any moment. Moving among the dark trees, he sensed something behind him. When he checked nothing was visible yet, the feeling of being watched remained. As the weather settled, he continued deeper into the forest with his camera recording.
All right. Okay, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not going crazy. I don't know if I should try this, but I'm going to try walking backwards because I want to see what's coming up behind me. Honestly, I don't even like walking backwards because I don't know what's ahead of me. Is there somebody out here with me? Oh my God! That scared me so bad. That was a straight up voice from thin air. It was as if somebody was standing like right there. My name is Ian. Could you tell me your name? Are you standing in this exact spot right here? Could you say something? You might not even understand me, that's the thing. I'm getting really chilled over here. I'm gonna walk up a little closer. I'm coming towards you. I mean you no harm. Oh my God! Holy! Oh my God, something just grabbed my shoulder. Holy moly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to react that way. You just scared me. I really don't know what kind of grab that was. I don't know if that was like a hey kind of grab or hey, like.
At one point, he tried walking backward to keep an eye on whatever might be behind him, though doing so made him uneasy since he couldn't see what lay ahead. Soon after, he heard a voice nearby, even though no one else was present in the area. The sound startled him, and he froze trying to determine whether it had been real or imagined. He attempted to communicate with the unseen presence, introducing himself and asking if something was near him. The air grew colder as he moved cautiously forward. Suddenly, he felt something grab his shoulder. The contact shocked him so much that he reacted instinctively before regaining control. He couldn't tell whether the action was meant as a warning or something else, but the physical sensation was undeniable.
Here's mound number 2. I'm actually not going to say anything this time. I'm actually just going to listen. Kinds of things over here. It sounds like voices, but they're suffering. Oh my God! Dude, that was a face! I just seen a face! That was a glowing face!
He kept moving through the woods, hearing footsteps and faint voices, even though he knew he was alone. When he reached another mound deeper in the forest, he stayed quiet and listened carefully. He picked up more unclear tones that resembled voices but were too faint to understand. As he continued forward, he saw something that overwhelmed him, a glowing face emerging from the darkness. That brief moment was enough to make him leave the forest immediately. Although unsure what he had encountered, the combination of voices, footsteps, and physical contact left him shaken. He couldn't rule out whether it had been paranormal activity or something connected to Bigfoot. Both men had different goals, one testing camping gear, the other searching for supernatural evidence, but each experienced moments in the wilderness that felt unnatural. Luke heard heavy footsteps around his campsite, sounds too large and deliberate to match typical wildlife. Ian went through escalating events involving voices, footsteps, and physical contact that defied explanation. Each of them left with unanswered questions about what truly exists in remote places rarely visited by people. Whether wildlife spirits or something resembling Bigfoot, both were reminded that the wilderness often holds more mysteries than anyone expects. A harvester recently recorded what they believe is undeniable proof of Bigfoot on camera. The footage shows a large human-like figure dropping down from a tree at the edge of the forest. It darts to the left, quickly turns to the right, and disappears back into the tree line. What makes this even more unusual is that the sighting took place far outside areas typically associated with Bigfoot, raising unsettling questions about why it appeared out in the open. A man in Maine was flying his drone over a remote lake while looking for a fishing spot when he captured something he didn't expect. Later, as he reviewed the footage, he noticed a tall, dark figure moving upright near the tree line. Shocked, he returned the next morning to investigate, but there were no tracks and no sign of anything. The clip spread quickly online, with believers calling it possible Bigfoot evidence and skeptics claiming it was just someone in a costume. Whether a genuine encounter or a staged hoax, the footage drew significant attention. In early 2024, a drone on a border patrol mission over Big Bend National Park in Texas captured something unsettling on its thermal camera. From above, the footage showed a figure covered in bright, bushy fur with a clearly defined head and limbs. Experts who reviewed the frame had no explanation. The area is remote with no trails or human activity and is linked to legends of a white Sasquatch or Yeti, making the sighting even more mysterious and to some possible evidence of Bigfoot.
That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.